As you might be able to tell, I'm on the East Coast, so it's a little cold here. In fact, if you really want to do your research, I'm in, I believe, and I could be wrong, the only place in the United States which is showing growth in the housing industry in the beginning of 2008. Why am I here? Well, because this is the place where God told me to move. So here we are, in this place, a mystery land. But we have a lot of trees here. And what can I tell you? What I want to tell you is that I kind of feel compelled to do a little bragging session. And as a Christian, you don't brag on anything except for God. Come on in, cat. My cats are very nosy. They have to be a part of everything. Especially my female cat. What do you do? They're cats. You might as well know who's nosing into your business anyway. Okay, so where are we going with that? Right. You got the Jews, the Christians, the medicine that they use to know God. You could see why Jesus was such a hit. He said, I am the vine. I am the truth. If you know me, you will know the Father. But there is no way to the Father except through me. Whether that meant mushrooms or that meant that we have a built-in dimethyltryptamine which carries us to the Father, I agree on that, for sure. Both of them, actually. So, now that I've covered my bases, there's something I want to get to. Bragging, right? Not supposed to brag on anything except for God. So what I can brag on is that I've eaten probably more psilocybin mushrooms than anybody on record on the planet, and that includes Maria Sabina. Maria Sabina is basically the woman who brought psilocybin back into the mainstream. It's not that it wasn't there. People knew about it, especially early on the East Coast. The farmers knew it cured arthritis and these sorts of things. But, frankly, let's see. It was not mainstream. It wasn't until Gordon Wasson brought psilocybin back into mainstream that people even knew anything about it. So he brought it back in by discovering Maria Sabina. He was tipped off by a poet, having a poetic license. He said something akin to, I think you ought to check out the Maztecs. They seem to have information on psychedelic mushrooms that may lead you back to the tree of life that you're looking for, Mr. Wasson. And his name was Robert Graves. Tough name. Anyway, moving forward then, we have Wasson. He brings out Maria Sabina in 1957 in the Life magazine, and Life, of course, being run by the Illuminists, says, well, we're not going to call it the wondrous mushroom. We reserve the right to title the article whatever we'd like. We're going to call it the magic mushroom. Much like the media conglomerate when they moved the Alchemist Stone by Harry Potter series over into the United States, they called it the Sorcerer's Stone. It was called the Philosopher's Stone. They transferred that to the witch hunt type of material, which falls under the category of the Sorcerer's Stone. In other words, they're forcing people who are not necessarily at odds to be against each other. If you believe in herbal medicine, then you can't be a Christian, because people who believe in herbal medicine are witches. This is how they use the Christian right. And it says in Revelations they will lead this group astray. So those of you who are on the Christian right and don't feel like things are right, look a little bit to your left. And those of you who are on the left and you're sure that things aren't right, then move a little bit more towards the center. Ron Paul is who I'd vote for, but in the event that it doesn't look like we're going to get Ron Paul, go for Edwards. He's the lesser of the evils. He's been to a Bilderberg meeting, but who knows if the Bilderbergs liked him. If I got invited, I might go. I certainly wouldn't join, and Edwards probably didn't know what he was getting into when he went. If somebody says, come to the Fortune 500 company, I would say 99.9% of the people viewing this would say, why not? So I think it is with Edwards and the Bilderbergs. I haven't seen any real evidence to see that he, like Gore, is part of the Scroll and Keys Society at Yale, which is a or a sister foundation of the Nazi Illuminati, much like the Skull and Bones that George Bush and his father belonged to, as well as Kerry, John Kerry. Anyway, yeah, we're in a lot of trouble, but you know what? In the end, the Illuminati don't know it, but they're actually telling us to go to drugs, move to drugs. They don't know that they're pushing us in the right direction, but they want us to move maybe towards addictive drugs. They're saying all drugs in general. What we should move towards is those ones that increase serotonin, and that they don't do it on a credit card scheme like LSD borrows from us. Even things like ecstasy, they borrow from our serotonin levels in order to give us an excess for the temporary, like a credit card. I can use my credit card, I can spend $5,000, but unless I spend that very wisely, that LSD or that MDMA experience is going to cost me in the long run in my neurological network. So I can have retreating neural fields. It doesn't mean I've gone into depression. It means I've gone into recession. It means I'm not in a growth phase. My nerves aren't growing. Cat wants out now. You guys must be tired of this stuff. Okay, God bless. That's all.